go, ladies and gents. Let's start this new year with something new. I'd like to do a new series called A Book Study. And we're going to actually look at different authors and their books and come up with really cool lessons inspired by the book. This particular book is called In a Jar. And it's been written and illustrated by Mrs. Deborah. Let's listen in as she reads it to us herself.
Llewellyn was a collector. He collected things in jars. When he held a jar and peered inside, Llewellyn remembered all the wonderful things he had seen and done. He collected small, ordinary things like buttercups, feathers, and heart-shaped stones. One night, the sunset painted the sky the color of tart cherry syrup. Llewellyn ventured down to the shore with as many jars as he could carry. A little girl named Evelyn was there too. Llewellyn scooped that cherry light into his jars, and when he was done, he gave one to Evelyn. Evelyn took the jar home, and to her surprise, it glowed through the night with the memory of that sunset. From then on, Llewellyn and Evelyn collected things together. They collected things hard to hold, like rainbows, the sound of the ocean, and the wind just before snow falls. They collected things you might not think would even fit in a jar, but somehow they did. They collected the wonders of winter, the newness of spring, and the long days and shadows of summer. Over time, their jars filled the walls of Llewellyn's house. But one day, Evelyn had sad news. Her family was moving to a new town. Too soon, it was time to say goodbye. With Evelyn gone, Llewellyn's heart felt like an empty jar. One night, Llewellyn lay awake. Falling stars glittered against the dark sky. He wondered if Evelyn could see them too. That gave him an idea. Llewellyn tiptoed out into the moonless night and collected the meteor shower in a jar. The next day, he prepared a package. When the box arrived and Evelyn opened the jar, the stars in the night sky fell around her. Evelyn knew just what to do. She collected the sounds, the crowds, and the bright night lights of her new home and sent them all to Llewellyn. And so, when the golden leaves of autumn began to fall once again, Llewellyn set out to collect a jarful for Evelyn. A little boy named Max was there too. Luckily, Llewellyn had brought an extra jar.
Oh, isn't that just a wonderful story? I just like it. I just love it. It's a great first book study. Love in a jar. So as the story goes, we're going to make a jar collection, a collection of jars that hold things that are hard to hold. So let's go about making jars. So as you can see, I folded my paper in half. I drew half of a jar, and now I'm going to cut it out. Be careful. Don't cut the top off your jar. Now, when you open it, you actually have a jar shape. It's symmetrical. Now, this is trash. Let's go ahead and throw that away. All right, now we have our top. Let's go ahead and draw the top in. And then we can put some little texture marks. You know how they have the grip on the top that you can open the jar when you need to. So we got that in. Now, Here's the most important part of the jar. Well, one of the most important parts of the jar, because this is what's going to make the jar look like it's made of glass. Yeah, we're going to trace around the edges of the jar, leaving a little bit of space. In this little bit of space, in this margin around your jar, you're not going to put anything. Yeah. We need to do that. Miss Deborah did it in her illustrations, and it was her way of making it look like the jars were made of glass. And so today is going to be your job to make 3 jars. Yeah, 3 jars. That's right. How you going to have a collection with just 1 jar, man? How you going to have a collection with just 1 jar? Oh, this is a variation in case you didn't want a top on your jar. This is a way you can make the jar look like it's open at the top. See? Look at there. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, there you go. You're going to have yourself 3 different looking jars. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, now don't forget, put your name on the back of all of them. Like at the bottom, you're going to put by, because you actually drew the jar. And then you write your name, and then you're going to write your teacher's name. Oh, this is what we're doing today. I'd like you now to go and have fun.
That's backwards. That looks like a rocket ship. Oh, you
It does kind
of. Outer space. Yours is like the base of a rocket.
No.